So EWB envisions an equitable and sustainable world where everyone has the opportunity to meet their basic needs and to live their life to their fullest potential. Despite that vision, we know that today in the world, it's a far cry from reality for far too many people. In fact, there's over 1 billion people globally today who can't even meet their most basic needs, and unsurprisingly, as a result of that, really can't live their lives to their fullest potential. And this is really the sort of rallying cry for why EWB is an organization and the big kind of problem in the world that we're trying to solve for, really, helping to build a more equitable and sustainable and inclusive world. At the same time, we know that there are, across sub-Saharan Africa, part of the world that really does, struggle with some of the most significant cases of poverty in the world that the private sector really represents. And that when I talk about the private sector, I really just mean like small businesses, small and growing businesses that exist in that part of the world, represent a majority of the economy, represent the most significant enabler for how people are able to access the resources that they need to live out a good and decent life and to support their families and to build their communities. So our hypothesis as EWB is that by investing in sustainable economic activity, that is a really smart way, if done well, to help give folks and ensure that people have the agency needed to overcome poverty and the means needed to overcome poverty and build a sustainable and equitable world. EWB obviously takes a very specific approach in how we try to make a contribution to that sustainable and inclusive economy. We do it really in 3 core ways, where there's 3 areas in which the organization is contributing to that. And they all have something to do with people. Unsurprisingly, it's at the heart of everything that EWB does. So first, we're investing in people like yourselves, in leaders, and helping them develop the skills to be systems change leaders in the world. And so that is represented in really specific and tangible ways. If you think about the work that you do at your chapters, the work that you do, for instance, to develop leadership skills, to go out and not only think about things, but to act in the world and try to make a difference in your local community and on big issues globally. So when you participate in an advocacy campaign, this is a very real and concrete way in which we are investing in our sustainable and inclusive economies impact area. So first is really just investing in leaders to become systems change leaders. Second is thinking about really high level policy issues that we can have an impact in, mainly through our community, because we're able to mobilize a lot of voices, we're able to interact with our government and make sure that our voices are heard on policy matters that matter a lot. And so an example of this is, in the last 6 months when we've been advocating for a strong and reinforced role for Canada in the world, and the international aid budget to back that up and to really demonstrate that leadership. This is a perfect example of how we can try and influence the policy landscape to also be aligned with creating a sustainable and inclusive economy globally. And then third is by looking at innovation and really doing that work by supporting early stage ventures across sub-Saharan Africa. These are ventures that have an innovative idea that, if successful, if scaled, would really make a significant difference in enabling small and growing businesses across Africa to grow and thrive and meet the needs of people in those communities and in those regions. So that is really the work that EWB does. When we talk about our sustainable and inclusive economies impact area, that's really what it is. I hope that you take the time to learn more about this work. All of us here on staff and fellows that are at the conference would love to take the time to sit down, whether it's a quick 2-minute conversation because you have a question, or it's sitting down, over a cup of tea and diving into this stuff more so. Everyone would be happy to do that, and hopefully you come out later this morning and learn more about this impact area. Thanks.